Do you find that traveling worldwide that there are some precautions that you have to take that you wouldn't have to just traveling, here in the United States?
Yeah, absolutely. You don't have the reach back ability. And if you miss something or don't have access to something, you need to make sure you have it with you. Um,
Yeah.
and let me think something just basic, right? You got to make sure your suits get there, right? I had a personal trip that was not related to a case. I was in Istanbul for a friend of mine's wedding. It was a personal trip that I took, and I was already in Asia. And so I flew in from Asia to Istanbul. And then my wife, who met me out for this wedding and was in Tampa. Well, my connection got delayed because of weather, and so I had a very tight connection on my way there, so my bags never arrived when I landed in Istanbul, and so I didn't have a bag for a day and a half because the airlines couldn't find it. My wife landed in Istanbul, and we were there for a wedding, so she had special dresses she had, and it was a very fancy wedding. They didn't United Airlines, good for them, lost her bag, not delayed, and they didn't find her bag for 3 days. And so we spent the first day and a half in Istanbul at a shopping mall trying to get a suit. She's trying to find a dress, everything else. And it was stressful doing that because there for a wedding. But what if we're there for trial? And now I'm there and I don't have suits. Imagine that. And so you have to take that into consideration, which is why you never cut it to the last minute. You're there early enough to where if an airline loses all your stuff, you've got a day or two, so you're not showing up to court like my cousin Vinny in the crazy suit that you found somewhere. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah,
that
yeah.
doesn't happen very often, but it happened to my wife and I on the same trip, which is the odds are probably pretty low that that's going to happen. So you have that. Think about medical issues. What if you get sick? You have to take very good care of yourself. So if you get sick, you don't have access to the military treatment, to the MTFs, because I'm not on active duty. And so I'm stuck getting healthcare on the economy, which can be difficult to do. So you have to take care of yourself. You have to make sure you're not sick. You have to take whatever supplies you need. And so there are a lot of things you need to consider when traveling to a foreign country to do these cases, it's a lot more work, a lot more thought has to go to them. There's a lot more cost and expense to the clients, because the flights are inherently very expensive now. And not only that, but there's the timing of it, all of it. And so, which I try to select the cases very carefully, the ones that we take on, because by my preference, I do all my cases in Asia would be great. But I've been taking more and more cases in Europe because I think there's a need for that as well. And so it becomes on our end. One of the things I have to do is ensure that I'm taking the right cases that work my schedule correctly, if that makes sense. It's like playing Tetris, trying to line up all the pieces to make them all work together. So I can't take every case, and I have to be careful of the cases that I take on because I have to think about the logistics when I do it, which is very different than if I was just taking local cases.